We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
Hello and welcome to Liberty Nation Radio, heard coast to coast on the Radio America Network. I'm your host, Mark Angelides. On today's special edition, we are talking Syria, Ukraine, and a whole lot more. It's going to be quite the show. The situation in Syria has reached boiling point, and some would say it has boiled over now that Bashar al-Assad has fled to Russia. Now, we're very fortunate to have with us Liberty Nation's national security correspondent, a man who knows all the ins and outs of Foggy Bottoms, plus the geopolitical situation worldwide. It is his duty and his honor to follow. Dave Patterson, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mark. What an introduction. I can't be wrong now, right?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if you are, I blame you because you're the expert. That's how these things work, Dave. You know, pass the responsibility and then see what comes back. So let's talk about Syria. Bashar al-Assad has fled, and the new guy who led the rebel forces to take over Damascus. Let's get the obvious out of the way here first. Am I right in thinking that until 5 minutes ago, this guy was terrorist A number one?
Absolutely. I mean, throughout, 2016, I believe, was the epiphany for him when he decided to change his stripes. And of course, the way terrorists do that is they change their name, right? I mean, that's what they do. But the things that he did and advocated, I mean, that's kind of hard to change. I mean, terrorist tactics and death to Israel, death to the United States. I mean, those are kind of things to walk back. They're difficult to walk back. And so we'll have to see, we in a Christian community, we're always open for, redemption and forgiveness.
Some call that the road to Damascus moment. And in his case, it's
really those road.
It's literal in at least one sense.
Yes.
So we have so many people celebrating the fall of Bashar al-Assad, and I'm not sure about this, Dave. But is it really has the leadership been replaced with somebody who's just as bad?
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? I mean, Bashar al-Assad has gone to Moscow. I guess that's the destination for these kinds of folks. And we're going to find out. But he has a problem. I mean, he's got a not insignificant Christian community in Syria.
Yes.
And he's got all of these factions that are fighting amongst themselves and on occasion fight against him. So, and then you've got the United States, who just, 75 targets were hit recently in Syria against terrorists that are not unlike him. So it's going to be a challenge.
So the group here is, and I may be pronouncing this wrong, but it's Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS as it's known. Now, they were formerly aligned with Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
And so, and they were, correct me if I've got this wrong, Dave Patterson has some amazing insight written on the pages of libertynation.com. Do go and check out his work over there. But it adopted the name Jabhat Fatah al-Sham, which is Front for the Conquest of the Levant. Is that right?
That's correct. And then they changed it to the liberation of the Levant. And the Levant is still there. So, I mean,
it is.
They have a caliphate wannabe sort of point of view.
Well, that's the thing, right? So it's very much a caliphate-oriented organization, has been for a long time, from what I can tell. And this name changing, it just reminds me, I'm sure you'd appreciate this, Dave, it's the People's Front of Judea, or the Judean People's Front, as per Monty Python's Life of Brian.
Yes.
And so why is everybody so willing to accept that the leopard has changed its spots here?
I think to keep your metaphor going, when Brian gets out before the people And he says, we are all individuals. And they repeat back, we are all individuals, except for one who says, I'm not. So you really believe that, Al-Jolani is not?
Yes, it's difficult pill to swallow, but the State Department at the moment seems it's quite strange, isn't it? Joe Biden has been almost claiming some kind of credit for what's happened in Syria, and it seems to me that this is a very dangerous position to take, especially, and I think it was you that first popped this out into my head, especially when we have to see what happens to the region's Christian population. And that is very much, as Mr. Rumsfeld used to say, an unknown unknown.
That's right. I think that's going to be the canary in the mine shaft. What happens to the Christian community? But you have to. I mean, I think it all becomes clear if you start to see the Biden State Department and the Biden view of foreign policy through the lens of this notion of, if we're real nice to you, will you be real nice to us? And of course, that's poppycock. You're talking about people who hate you, and it doesn't matter how nice you are to them. And this notion that he put out yesterday, when Biden was on television and he said, we are going to intervene with assistance. Are you joking? Without even knowing what the outcome of these people are?
Yes.
This is madness.
I really just can't get over what a foolhardy position the Biden administration has taken here, because you've got these people that, let's consider the knowns first. You have a guy who, until 5 minutes ago, or 2016, if you believe the popular presses, was a terrorist group leader, and now he's gotten rid of the camo outfit, trimmed the beard just a little bit, and now all of a sudden he's a progressive reformer against Assad's admittedly very, very brutal regime. And so now the Biden administration appears to be trying to co-opt that victory, and we don't know yet whether this is just going to be another Afghanistan. And we have on this show and on criticized the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan under President Joe Biden, and how that was carried out. But it did put an end to the war in Afghanistan. American lives, British lives, international lives being wasted on the fields in Afghanistan. Are we opening a brand new can of worms here? Because if the U.S. ends up supporting one side of a fight without even knowing who that is, I mean, we saw this. It's where did Al Qaeda first get all of its training and its weaponry and its mission provocata, as it were?
In Afghanistan, when we gave them Stinger missiles to take care of the Russians, and Wilson's War, right? And of course,
Charlie Wilson,
yeah, Charlie Wilson's War. But the point is, we do these things with the best of intentions. We do them well, and then we forget why we were there and walk away and let the bad guys, be mischievous. And it's exactly what we do. And here we have an opportunity to sit back and say, let's just wait and see, because right now, what is happening is the three biggest threats in the Middle East are in extremists.
Yeah.
Russians, Iran, and Hezbollah. Why don't we just let it play out and see who emerges? But something that we need to be very aware of, and that is, we can't let Putin move from Tartus to Libya.
Yeah, that would be a disaster in waiting. As was it Napoleon who said, never interrupt your enemy when they're in the process of destroying themselves?
Exactly right.
We'll be back with this topic after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.